What's up and welcome to Me, You, and Switch 2. I am me, Tom Tate, and you are you. So let's talk about Switch 2. This is the latest and greatest Nintendo Switch 2 news brought to you every Tuesday and Friday in snackable 5 to 10 minute episodes. We try to keep things short and sweet and get you on with your day. It is Friday, April 10th. It is 7:53 a.m. on the East Coast. This is actually episode 90, so it doesn't feel like a milestone to me. It's a pretty high number, but it's hard to believe that we're almost at 100. I did not think when I started this podcast that I would make it to 100 episodes, so I'm pretty excited. I wouldn't be doing this still if the listen counts, the downloads didn't go up week over week, so I attribute that to you. I want to thank you, anyone who's been tuning in and continues to tune in. I really do appreciate it. If it's your first time tuning in, welcome to the show. I mentioned last episode, this is a really busy time at work for me, so it has been a week, and it is pretty much the weekend now. I think we've all collectively earned it. I hope that you have some good stuff planned, whether it's playing some games or spending time with friends or family or just doing some stuff that you love to do. And if you have to work, I hope that it is as pleasant for you as it can be. We have a lot of little headlines this week, so I'm going to get right into it. First up, Nintendo Switch Online subscribers now have access to 3 new Nintendo Entertainment System games in the NES library. We have Pac-Man, Mendel Palace, and the Tower of Druaga. I think these are all Namco games. I think that's the trend here. So the Tower of Druaga is an action RPG, kind of maze-like game from Namco. It was originally released on arcades. I thought this was interesting. It was released on the Pac-Man hardware. I was reading up on this game. This, however, is the NES version. The arcade version is actually available on Switch already through the Arcade Archives collection. Those series of games from Hamster, those games are usually like $7 or $8. And that game has been out for a couple of years now. But if you want the NES version and you want to play it for free, it is now on the NSO library. Mendel Palace. This was also published by Namco in Japan in 1989. I want to say maybe it was Hudson Soft that published it in the US. It's like a card flip game. It looks very interesting. I haven't heard of this before. I don't know too much about this game. But I did read that this was the first game developed by Game Freak, who would later go on to create the Pokemon titles. It looks very interesting. It looks kind of fun. I think I might try this one out. And then, of course, we have Pac-Man, and Pac-Man is Pac-Man. I don't remember the NES version specifically, but I imagine it's pretty similar to the arcade classic. And now you have it to play, which is great. Always great to see these libraries grow. I'm always looking forward to seeing what types of titles they throw on these. The newest James Bond game from Hitman developer IO Interactive was supposed to release on May 27th on Xbox, PS5, PC, and Switch 2. This was already delayed from March. We were supposed to receive this last month. And now we just learned this week that the Switch 2 version won't release until later this summer. No date has been added, so we're not confirmed to get it later this summer, but that's what they said. But it will release in May for all the other platforms. So we will get a sense of how this game even is, gameplay-wise and story, before it even hits Switch 2. This is one of many third-party games that appears to be struggling to get across the finish line on Switch 2. We're seeing this a bit. The other one that comes to mind is Elden Ring. And Elden Ring also popped up in the gaming news this week because it is now available for pre-order, yet it still doesn't have a release date. So they're still actively working on making this game great for Switch 2, but we don't have a release date yet. It'll be a game key card, really no surprise there. So you have to download the full file. And the new pre-order listing confirms the tarnished edition of Elden Ring will be priced at $79.99. Not really a shock there either. I expected this to be pretty expensive, but for a game that's been out since 2022, maybe a slight price cut would have been nice. I had mentioned I appreciated that Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth didn't launch as $60, $70, or $80 titles. Here's what's included in the Tarnished Edition. You get the full base game for Elden Ring. You get full Shadow of the Erdtree expansion. You get 2 new starting classes, Heavy Knight and Knight of Ides. You get 4 new armor sets, and you get 3 customization options for Torrent. I don't know what any of that means, but you're getting a lot. And this game, of course, was kind of game of the year for many, many people when it released. In other news, the indie game Absalom is getting a physical release later this year. It'll be a full game on the card, not a game key card. This was a beat-em-up game from Dotemu. People really loved this one. Read a lot of good reviews. I had a lot of podcasters I listened to rave about this game, and the special edition has some cool additions like physical trading cards and metal pins. And the art style for this game is really cool too. So you're getting a lot of good stuff. Pokemon Champions launched on Switch on Wednesday, and it was riddled with bugs and limitations. I read some early impressions that it feels like playing a beta. It has missing features. It has graphical issues. I'm not going to be playing this game, to be completely honest with you, so I can't comment on it myself, but I'm curious if anyone out there has given it a shot. I'm sure it will improve over time. It's early days for a free-to-play game that will be out for a while and will be supported for a while, so I'm sure they will continue to add all the features you're looking for. They will add more Pokemon. They will fix the graphic issues. But fans are not happy with the release. So we'll keep an eye on this one. Not really Switch 2 news, but Rhythm Heaven Groove. This was a game that we learned about last spring. So last year, 2025, it was announced for Switch, not Switch 2, with a 2026 release date. We now know that this will arrive on July 2nd, 2026. Looks like a ton of fun. This is a Switch 1 game, as I mentioned. There's no distinguishing Switch 2 version, so no special features or anything like that, but I'm sure it'll play just fine. And I think I read that this will be a $39.99 priced game, both physical and digital, so they're not doing that, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book thing where there's a $10 difference. And finally, we had a few games release in the eShop over the past week. People of Note, the musical RPG that I talked about a few episodes ago. This is releasing for under $25. That released on Tuesday. AFL 26. We did not have this one on our every game that's going to be released in April episode because it wasn't announced. So it just kind of dropped. This is the Australian Football League. They call it footy. I don't actually know the AFL rules. It looks a little bit more like rugby than football, just looking at screenshots. But this released on Tuesday for $69.99. Pretty high, but I guess if it's a good game and you're an AFL fan, you're willing to pay that price, similar to how you would buy Madden at that price, right? Or buy FIFA. Console Archives Seacross and Arcade Archives 2 Polaris both released yesterday. They are priced at $7.99 and $9.99 respectively. Again, these are from the Hamster collections, bringing out those classic games to purchase and own. Demon Castle Story Nintendo Switch 2 Edition launched for $16.19. That's a slight discount. This launched yesterday. I'm just going to read the description here. It's kind of pixel arty, but in the eShop, it says a management simulation in which you take an old, rundown castle and turn it into a dastardly demon stronghold. Recruit unique monsters as your minions and vanquish adventurers who dare to enter your realm. Pretty cool. You're kind of just controlling all the demons and kind of building your own little demon horde. Sounds interesting and reasonably priced, so check that out in the eShop. If none of these interest you at all, and you're looking for a cheap game to sink into, and you have a capable mobile device, I caught this headline too. Sea of Stars. It is a turn-based RPG. It's one of my favorite RPGs of the past couple of years. The music is incredible. The story is good. The gameplay is great. It's now on Android and iOS. This is also on Switch. I don't know what the price is on Switch, but it is on sale on mobile platforms for $8. So, this isn't Switch 2 news, but it's an endorsement for a game that I loved. $8. Really love that game. If you're looking for something to play, maybe check that out. All right, that's it for today. We're going to sign off. You can reach me on Blue Sky at Switch2Pod. That's Switch with the number 2 pod. Instagram is the same. I don't post a lot in either of those platforms because I'm not online a ton, but feel free to message me if you need to reach me. Subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to shows. We should be there. If not, let me know. Switch2pod.com for all the links, all the show notes, all that stuff. Kind rating or review goes a long way. Sharing with a family member, friend, Discord server, subreddit, wherever you hang out with gamers goes even further. Word of mouth has kept this show going. I appreciate all that. I want to thank you, as always, for your time and your attention. It means a ton. Much love. Enjoy the weekend. Got to slip that in there. Have a fantastic weekend. I will be back on Tuesday. Much love. Now go play some games.